Welcome back, everyone. We're so glad you're with us on this Tuesday evening. Here in the South, we know to avoid mounds like these. Fire ants can not only be a real pain, they can kill small animals and some people when bites trigger severe reactions. What you may not know is back in the early 1900s, fire ants first made it into the United States aboard a cargo ship at the port of Mobile. They hitchhiked here from South America. They love our warm weather, and despite our government's greatest efforts, there is no getting rid of them. Tonight, we offer official and unofficial expert advice on controlling the treacherous fire ant. They are tiny, but present a massive problem.
If you think you've wiped out a nest, don't think you've wiped them all out. They're everywhere. There's like probably millions or possibly a couple of billion per nest if it's really big.
11-year-old Evan Jones has done his research.
It's like a pinching, burning sensation.
He's allergic to fire ants.
Then the itching begins. Intense itching.
And knows what it's like to be attacked.
When I was kindergarten, I tripped over an ant bed. They got on my foot, and I couldn't wear my shoe anymore. It was literally that swollen.
They're tiny, and they're going for it.
For Master Gardener Carol Dorsey, working in her happy place is a balancing act, always on guard against something so small and relentless.
They come equipped with jaws and venom, and they use it because they're threatened.
They bite and inject venom over and over.
They can get on your leg, cover you up.
Certified pest control operator Fred Pierce says it's a calculated assault. Sometimes they don't bite until you get like a bunch of them on you, and then you realize it.
Exactly.
Why is that?
That is because they release a pheromone at the same time. The fire ant will release a pheromone telling everybody it's time to bite.
It's all about protecting the nest.
And this is a winged queen right here.
Their queen, sometimes more than one, can be burrowed 15 feet underground, making them not only a nuisance, but a threat to infrastructure.
They will actually excavate underneath and create infrastructure problems, such as busting concrete, potholes, and such on the side of the roads.
Fire ants are stealthy. They move very quickly, and spotting an active mound isn't always obvious.
They can be in there, and you don't even notice them until you are in there, right up in there with the fire ants.
One tactic gardeners use is the potato chip test. They'll place it in an area where they want to work and check it a couple of hours later. If ants show up, Dorsey treats the area with organic insecticide and finds another place to work. Pierce says the best way to control fire ants is to call a professional.
Most of the direct contact liquids that we use are a controlled product that you can't necessarily just go buy from any regular store. There are some products that are sold at your big box stores that are effective, but if you're going to use those products, I really suggest a bait.
Whether you're treating individual mounds or using a broadcast treatment for larger areas, instructions must be followed precisely.
You have to bait when they're actually harvesting or when they're feeding or looking for food. And that's usually the biggest problem I see.
Another problem? Applying too much product. That alerts the colony it's under attack, so it just moves to another spot in your yard. As for home remedies,
sometimes people use grits on top of fire ants thinking that the queen will swell up and die. You're just feeding them. You're probably increasing the size of the ant pile by feeding them.
He says burning or pouring gasoline on a pile damages your yard and the environment and may not reach the queen.
One of the old-time remedies that actually does work is scooping up fire ants from one pile and mixing them in another pile, mixing the two together, and they will fight each other into the death.
Even then, the queens likely survive. Fire ants do have some benefits, though. They kill termites and make excellent cleaning crews, eating the meat of carcasses. Some people think that's cool. Why would you want just the bone?
It's just neat to have. It's just a keepsake. I mean, I have some snake bones at the house that were cleaned up by fire ants. When I was a kid, I used to take and do that. It's just one of the weird things you do as a kid, as a boy.
Fire ants can even survive floods. The ants will cling together, creating a living raft, floating in floodwaters and drifting until they find dry ground. They'll also rescue their larvae, keeping them alive until they can establish a new colony.